I like a cookie. I know you guys like cookies. Today I have a really good cookie. It's a maple glazed cookie, and there's maple in the cookie itself. Delicious. The first thing you want to do is whisk together your dry ingredients. I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2, all right, so that's 3 cups. I should have worn an apron. Now I'm gonna just add 1 teaspoon of salt. There's only 2 ingredients in your dry ingredients. No leavener here. It's basically a shortbread cookie, so you don't need it. Take a second bowl, 2 sticks of soft butter. Make sure that they're the right temperature soft. You can squish it with a finger, but it won't mush apart. To that, add 1 cup of sugar. Beat the butter and the sugar together until they're nice and light and fluffy. And if your butter's the right temperature, this will only take a minute or 2, really not very long. All right, turn off your mixer for a second and then measure a 1/2 cup of pure maple syrup. I'm using grade A, which is a more delicate flavor, but grade B would also be really good. It's excellent for baking because it's got a stronger maple flavor. One thing though, make sure it's pure maple syrup. Don't use the fake syrup. Don't use it. Just add your maple syrup and beat it until it's fully combined. And that should be nice and fluffy too. And then you can add your eggs. We're just using the egg yolks, so you're gonna need to separate some eggs. Put both the egg yolks into the butter mixture and then just beat them in till it's fully combined, and then you can add your flour mixture. Make sure that your mixer is on very low when you add your flour mixture. Otherwise, you know what's gonna happen. It's gonna go flying. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hold it up and pour it in. It's still a little hard, but that's okay. Beat all that flour mixture in, and then you have your cookie batter ready. Turn this guy off. We're ready to scoop. I'm using a 1 tablespoon scoop. Just scoop it, make sure they're nice and even. Parchment lined baking sheet. This recipe makes a lot of cookies. So if you wanna make all this dough, you can bake off the cookies and put the baked cookies in the freezer and then glaze them when you're ready to serve them. Once you've scooped them with your 1 tablespoon scoop, then you just flatten them lightly with the bottom of a glass. And you probably wanna put a little bit of flour on this so it doesn't stick, like this. But you don't want tons of flour on the top, right? So, you know, use your judgment. If it's overly sticky, just throw it in the fridge. Ta-da! 350 degrees, 12 to 15 minutes. Lightly golden around the edges, nice and dry. When the cookies come out of the oven after 12 minutes, put them on wire racks to cool. And then you can make a glaze for them while they're cooling. A, B, P. Always be prepping. I'm just never gonna stop saying that. The glaze is extremely simple. What is it? It's just reduced maple syrup. Take 1 cup of maple syrup, cook that until it reduces to 3/4 of a cup. That's not that much, but first you need to bring it to a boil and then just boil away until it's reduced and slightly thickened. Shouldn't take too long. Probably once it comes to a boil, about 5 minutes. I'm gonna just turn that down just a bit because I fear that it's gonna boil over. But that's how it works. All right, let's see if it's ready. It needs to have reduced by a 1/4. That looks like it's nice and thick. Then just spoon a tiny bit on top. You really don't need that much to get a lot of flavor because it's so reduced and thick and delicious. Plus, remember, you've got about 150,000 cookies to cover. So spoon a tiny bit on each cookie, let it set, and then indulge in a delicious, fall-flavored, phantasmagorical cookie that you're gonna love, and your friends and family are gonna love. And it has under 6 ingredients. What do you think about that? If you really want to enhance the flavor, you can sprinkle a little bit of salt on here at the end. Make sure you use a nice coarse salt. You're not going to be able to keep the crowds away from these maple cookies. Will you? Will you really? You think that's hyperbole?